Welcome to Summerfest Sunday. My name is Sarah, and I'm super glad you are here to celebrate an awesome week of day camp. If you weren't at camp this week, I'm so excited. You're also going to get to hear some of what we learned at camp. And many of your friends around you are going to help teach you what they learned at camp. If you were at day camp, we're going to review our memory verses. Leaders, pause the video and lead them to say Monday's memory verse. On Monday, we learned that there is a race marked out for us. Who marked out that race? God, our Father, who created us He created us on purpose for a purpose. He loves us. He shows us the way we should go, the way we should live to trust Him. Leaders, pause the video and lead them to say Tuesday's memory verse. God's marked out a race for us, but we get tangled up and hindered by our selfishness, our sin. It tangles us up as we go off the way God has marked out for us because we don't trust Him. We talked this week of camp about what that does. We get from the prize. We get disqualified from the prize of being in an eternal, perfect relationship with the Father. Is there anything that you can do to requalify yourself? No! Then what a hope is there? If, like in a Mario game, you go off the way, you're dead. So what hope is there? There's only hope if someone gives you a new life. Leaders, pause the video and lead them to say Wednesday's verse. For the joy set before Him. What was the joy set before Jesus? You, being with you in the Father's presence. Jesus endured the cross because He was thinking about you. And then what does He do? Does He requalify you for the race so that you can try again to earn the prize? No, He doesn't requalify you. He just gives you the prize. He trusted the Father perfectly. He followed the way of the Father perfectly, even to death on the cross. But then what happened? The Spirit rose Jesus from the dead. And Jesus ascended to sit down at the right hand of the throne of God. He took His rightful place, enthroned as the Son He is. But then, what do the Father and the Son and the Spirit do? They offer to adopt you, to raise you up and seat you with them, to treat you the way Jesus actually deserves to be treated. Leaders, pause the video and lead them to say Thursday's verse. On Thursday, we learned that to all who received Him, to those who believed in His name, He gave them the right to become children of God. And some of you this week did receive Him and become children of God. And some of you need more time before you can know if you believe in Him and if you can actually trust Him. And some of you need more time to know if you can actually believe in Him, to know if you should trust Him. And that's great. I'm so glad you're here with us on Sunday at church, where you can continue to figure out if you believe in the things you learned at camp and if you're ready to trust and receive Him. So keep coming to church. Keep asking your parents to bring you. And don't ask your parents, can we just stay home today? Because when we get to come to church together and gather as people following Jesus, it's like going to a sports practice. This morning, we're going to keep reading a little bit further in Hebrews chapter 12. Consider him, that's Jesus, who endured such opposition from sinners, so that you will not grow weary and lose heart. Endure hardship as discipline. God is treating you as his children. For what children are not disciplined by their father? And if you are not disciplined, and everyone undergoes discipline, then you're not legitimate children, not true sons and daughters at all. Moreover, we have all had human fathers who disciplined us, and we respected them for it. How much more should we submit to the Father of spirits and live? They, that's, our earthly parents, disciplined us for a little while as they thought best, but God disciplines us for our good, in order that we may share in his holiness. No discipline seems pleasant at the time, but painful. Later on, however, it produces a harvest of righteousness and peace for those who have been trained by it. Therefore, strengthen your feeble arms and your weak knees. Make level paths for your feet, so that the lame may not be disabled, but rather healed. Have you guys ever been disciplined by your parents? Do you like it when it happens? What did you feel at the time that you were getting in trouble or they were punishing you? But what did you learn? Pause the video. Teachers and small group leaders have helpers share their own example with the kids around them, and then have those few kids around them share their examples. Or think about in sports, right? When you exercise really hard, is it fun or is it painful? But what happens as you keep practicing and exercising really hard? Kids, share that with the helpers beside you. You get stronger, right? If you're a child of God, he's going to continue to train and discipline you. And our Father is so good that he does it all for our good. Do you know he can even take ways that other people's sins have hindered you and then use them? He can redeem them to train you to more holiness and peace. He can even take the results of your sin, your selfishness, and use the hurt that comes from that to train you. Now, it certainly would have been better, of course, if you had stayed on the way he marked out, if you had gone his way. But when you run off, he's so good that he can use the pain that comes from that to train you. But how do we get untangled from sin so that we don't go off his way so often? Hebrews 12 says, fixing our eyes on Jesus, the pioneer and perfecter of our faith. What's a pioneer? Like just when you normally use that word. A pioneer is someone who goes first, right? Who makes something new. Other translations say the author of our faith. He's the creator of our faith. Like what that means is he's the only reason there is something that we can have faith in. Like we can have faith in him. And he's the perfecter, the finisher, the completer of our faith. He completely finished the race and won the prize, and he completely trusted the Father. So he won the prize, and then he just gives it to us. We don't need to earn it. He's the creator of our faith and the completer of our faith. And so now we have this amazing opportunity where it's like Jesus is running and we get to follow him. We don't fix our eyes on all the things around that would hinder us or all our sins. We can fix our eyes on Jesus, and as we follow his way, he can lead us around those things. As we fix our eyes on Jesus, the sin and the selfishness that tangles us and hinders us can start to fall off as we fix our eyes on Jesus. if you're at camp, you set some goals for how this fall, how as you head to school, you're going to continue to fix your eyes on Jesus. Whether you've received him and chosen to become his child, or whether you're still trying to figure out if you believe in him or you should receive him. These are also good ways to figure that out. So you made some goals about how you can engage with the Bible, how you can learn his way. You maybe made some goals about prayer, how you could just spend some time sitting like at the throne with him. You know, picture the Father and the Son on their thrones in heaven, the Spirit around them, and you sitting with them, you sitting on the lap of the Father. That's what prayer is like. And you maybe made some goals, or you can make some goals about that. You perhaps made some goals about what it looks like to be in community, because fixing our eyes on Jesus is always better when we do it as a team. Leaders, there's an activity you can choose to do right now with a discussion question with it, or you can do it later at the end of your time together, or not at all. You can choose when you want to do that. We're going to play a fun game to illustrate why it's so helpful to have a whole community running together. Your goal is going to be to get a pool noodle from one side of the room to the other, but you're only allowed to use one finger, and you can't stick it in the hole of the pool noodle. You have to balance that pool noodle on one finger and get it from one side of the room to the other as fast as you can. You can pause the video and try that. How'd that go? Like, I can't imagine that was very good. I don't think I could have done it. But now, helpers, get the kids that you were talking with, as well as yourself, to, again, everyone only using one finger, but try as a team to get that pool noodle to the other side. And take a moment and talk about this. When has having another friend who also follows Jesus helped you fix your eyes on him, especially at school? When has a friend or a parent or someone else who follows Jesus being in your life helped you turn your focus back to fixing on Jesus? Leaders, you share an example first, and then ask your kids if they have an example to share. As you do these things, as you spend time learning the way of Jesus through the Bible, as you spend time being with him in prayer, as you spend time being with his people, as you do these things, sometimes we call them spiritual disciplines, you get stronger, more peace, more holiness, more like spiritually fit, like when you exercise. It's like as you continue to run after Jesus, your cardio gets better. You know, as you get more and more exercise, you get stronger and you start to experience the joy of running. Do we continue to practice these things and run after Jesus and follow his way so that we can earn the prize? No, we talked about this. He's already given you the prize. You're not running and trying to follow him and fix your eyes on him so that you can earn something. He's already given it to you. You didn't deserve it, but you get it anyway. So now you can just experience the joy of growing peace and growing holiness as you follow him. I'm going to read Hebrews 12 and 13 again. And as I do, I want you guys to add in some appropriate and awesome actions. Let's stand up as we read it. Therefore, strengthen your feeble arms and your weak knees. Make level paths for your feet, so that the lame may not be disabled, but rather healed. What does this tell us about why we need to get stronger? If we don't need to get stronger so that we can earn the prize, and we've already talked about how part of why we want to get stronger is so that we can continue to live in the freedom of holiness and peace that it brings. But what does this verse tell us is another reason we want to get stronger? Talk about that in your small groups. You want to get stronger because you have many friends. You know, you're going back to school in 2 weeks. You have many friends who don't know they have a creator. They don't know they have a purpose. They don't know that they're loved by God and can become a child of God. But you You who have become children of God, you get to join Jesus, running after him on a mission. We get to help bring our friends like a human crutch. Like, when someone hurts their leg and then they put their arm around you, and because you're strong, you can help bring them to someone who can heal them. That's the mission Jesus calls us into. We can help bring our friends and family to the one who can actually heal them and make them a child of God. We are going to take some time now to pray about the friends we will see at school in 2 weeks. And we're going to practice right now sharing the good news so that as you're praying about your friends, if you have the opportunity, you can tell them this story. You're going to practice in your small groups drawing this simple diagram because you can do this anywhere. You don't need anything fancy, a piece of paper. I even know a kid, and this was many years ago after day camp, he was in grade 2, and a friend was asking him questions about God. And he went down in the dirt and he got a stick and he drew the heart and the cliff and the cross, and he shared the whole story of what he had learned at camp with his friend. You can use this anywhere at any time to help you explain to your friends that they're created on purpose for a purpose and that they can become a child of God. Pause the video, and helpers and small group leaders help pair up your kids, especially if there's kids who weren't at camp this week. That's awesome because a kid who was at camp can practice using the heart, the cliff, and the cross diagram and their Bible verses to tell them the good news. Today, as you pray in your small groups, you're going to do 2 things. Kids, you're going to pray for your friends, for your Fave 5, that as you go into school, you're going to have opportunities to share the good news with them, to share with them how you've become a child of God. And then small group leaders, you're going to pray a blessing over your kids as they get ready to go back to school. Leaders, thank you so much for serving on Summerfest Sunday. And I know lots of you are at camp all week. So thank you for making a place for our kids to get to maybe come to a Sunday morning kids church for the very first time. When you arrive and as you're sitting in your small group, it'll be really important for you at the right time to figure out who is at day camp and who wasn't, so that by the time we get to sharing the Heart Cliff Cross, you'll be able to know how to pair them up. That'll probably be pretty clear as we do the memory verses. This will be a great opportunity to those who were at day camp. Now it's been a whole day to see if they can still explain the Heart Cliff Cross and to actually get to do that to somebody who wasn't there at camp. Thanks for everything you do.